Okay, we're on.
Awesome. So now we should be coming off. We should have just heard my amazing OFC Business Zone drop. If we didn't, well, guys, you know how it is sometimes. So, so like I was saying, now this is the OFC Business Zone. Um, and for those who don't know, the OFC is the One Full Circle Community Network, where we bridge the gap between the French and the English-speaking melanated community, and we make it a point to bring you that Black excellence. So we have a very special guest with us this morning, and she's also new to the OFC, so we're very excited to announce her and introduce her to the community. So we have Sandra Fénelon, and she is the owner of Distress VR and Solomia
Solemia concept.
Solemia Concept.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being on with us this morning.
Glad to
And
be here.
yes, and you're lucky because normally we have people get up at 5 a.m., get to our radio station for 7, and to be on air for 7:15. So like the world's hearing it this early morning, but it's not that early right now. So we're so you're definitely getting away from having to do that. So Sandra, so first, like I like to do, can we first take a second before we dive into the business? Just get to know you. Can you introduce yourself to the community?
Okay. Well, I am a business owner, yes. I'm also right now, I think that I am in a journey of rediscovery because
Mm,
when we were faced with this new situation, we all have to pause and really reevaluate everything that we're doing. And
yep.
since the business I had, the two business I have are kind of in a transformation right now because I will explain in a few minutes. I
Hmm.
think that I will start by saying that with my experience through life, I've been through different transformation throughout my life, and I think that this one is an opportunity not to be missed, to
Mm,
be to become more, to do more, and to strive for more in a different way. So
mm,
how do I start to tell you about myself? I came to Canada with my family. I was 3 years old in 1969. So you can imagine that life has changed tremendously around me since I
mm,
came to Canada to here.
mm,
When we arrived in Canada, I lived in the rural part of Quebec. I was in Drummondville. So I was really in a different environment, in a completely French environment. And eventually, at the age of 13, 14, we moved into a much more multi ethnic community. And that's when I started to meet other Black people and immerse myself in different um, Black cultures because I realized that there's not just one, there's many. So then I studied human resources. I started my career at Alcan, the aluminum company.
okay.
And this was a formative experience for me. It was a big corporation. Well, they treated their employee very well. And for 7 years, I was there really learning about business, the corporate world. And when I left to pursue another opportunity in the entertainment industry, Canal Go, it was the first pay-per-view in Quebec. That
Okay.
helped me also see the other side of the creative world, not just the corporation, yes, but in the creative domain. And that was also another tool I brought into my luggage to continue. Anyway, I throughout my career, I worked for private sector, the public sector also. And the last job I had was in 2006. I was hired as the executive director for the Boulevard Saint Laurent Merchant Association. So it was the business association from Sherbrooke to Mont Royal. So
Wow.
it's around 600 businesses that I had to manage the association, helping them promote themselves and helping the community, the business community on Saint Laurent, do more with, because it's such an historic street.
That's it.
It
It
was
really is.
fabulous. It was really.
Wow, that you see, I love this. Like, what one? I know you and I we spoke like when you're joining the network and stuff like that. But it's like to really grasp and understand all the things that you're involved in. It's huge. Like in terms of just like so the plethora of knowledge that you must have just because of all your different experiences. It's my gosh, like you can't pay for that kind of knowledge.
I would invite the young entrepreneur to understand that life sometimes brings us in different road, and
Right.
to embrace those roads, because it brings a depth into our knowledge, into our experience, and we get better at offering something more of value. So by 2008, when after 2 years on Saint Laurent, it was really a challenging position, because at the same time there was the road works, major construction on Saint Laurent. And we were in the news every day. It was crisis management for 14 months. So I had to deal with the city, with the provincial level. It was a lot of negotiation, and also talking to my member, reassuring them in the time of crisis, not similar, because we've never seen what we're living right now. For them, it was the crisis similar to the crisis living right now, because they were stuck and couldn't do their business naturally when a truck would come in front of their business to destroy the street.
Exactly.
I mean, it was a lot of negotiation, a lot of finding solution when we thought things were hopeless.
You're right.
So, and then when I decided to launch my own business after 2 years of that kind of experience, I saw that I could bring value to small businesses. I could bring all the experience I had into small businesses, but small businesses don't need to have exactly the same resources. They cannot pay for the whole year to have some expertise. They need sometimes just during a certain period to have an expertise come in, do the project, and then leave after. But they pay just for that time. It's really a win-win situation. And that's how I started the first business, Solemia Concept, in 2008.
Wow, that is a beautiful journey, and and again, I love doing the OFC Business Zone because it's enlightening. It's enlightening for me, and it's enlightening for our entire community. Like just to get to know some of the awesome people and things that they're doing within the community and around the community. So thank you for sharing your experience. So let's talk more. And actually, before as you're saying, as you're talking about Saint Laurent, this is kind of off topic but on topic. Did the city explain why they had to tear up the road? Like, I'm always wondering.
Of course, but it's an historic street. There was a huge need to repair the water drain. The infrastructure needed desperately to be upgraded.
Okay. So
that was in 2006, 2007, 2008. So it was needed, and throughout the city, the infrastructure needed to be upgraded, and that's normal.
That's not right.
It's all in the planning.
Right.
The secret is all in the planning. It's all in the communication. And unfortunately, like we see right now, even though I see a lot of improvement, because we have all the communication tools to help us spread the message, we still need to be 2 steps ahead. We still need to think in advance, not to wait to be in the situation to take action. We should always have, some plan of action in there.
So okay, no, I agree 100%. Okay, so that's it. But I was always curious because we're called our show's called The Morning Detour just because we're always on detours in the city. So when you mentioned that, I was like, okay, good. I could get some insight in terms of why the city keeps tearing up all the roads. But okay, yes. But you're now I do understand from that perspective. It is like yeah, the plumbing, the old, it's all old and it's been a long time. So okay, menage concrete. All right, so I go right on that question point. So now the and I like the way you had introduced it and segued it, because now we even get have a clear understanding in terms of how you came about the business and why you created the business. Now, if we could talk just a little bit more just about the business itself, like the services and stuff that you offer to the businesses and stuff like that, and if you have anything that you're doing special right now to be able to cope with the times that we're in.
So before this present situation, I was working on different projects for some of my clients, I was doing recruiting. I don't just do recruiting, I analyze the situation, the need, also the performance evaluation methods to make sure that when they integrate a new employee, because we all do fabulous interviews. Most people, when they are hired, they do fabulous interviews. How
Yep.
do you get all that talent really work for the long term? And this
Mm-hmm.
win-win, it has to be a very win-win situation where the employee will get what you are offering, the expectation of the employee and your
Mm-hmm.
expectation will be matched. And
Right. Okay.
sometimes this is where the discrepancy happen. The
Mm-hmm.
employee is very enthusiastic starting at the company, but the company was not prepared to meet the expectation, and the employee was not clear on the expectation of the company.
As an employer,
Then
right?
a few months later, everybody's disappointed, and
Yep.
it's a short-lived story. So
Experience, right? Yeah.
what I try to do with my clients is really to help them make the story last longer
Longer.
and to
Right.
really create the bond that they need in order to become successful partners.
Nice. And I like the way you put that, because that is really like people have it completely twisted. If you don't think your employees are your partners, you got it completely wrong. Because without your employees, like without your team, yeah, it's like your business is definitely struggling. And I can speak your firsthand experience as well. Like I wouldn't be able to do as much as I do if it wasn't for my amazing team. So that is awesome. Okay, yes. So now and so
And another part of this, what one of my strength in the service I offer is the performance evaluation. Instead of doing a performance evaluation where a supervisor will meet an employee to tell them, a subjective evaluation, I
mhm,
always say to my client, the business owners, I tell them, you know what, the wealth of information is with your employee. Before
mhm,
you evaluate them, you have to harvest this information. And then
exactly.
you evaluate the needs of your company with what your employee are producing. And then, instead of just evaluating, you have a good attitude, you're punctual. What does that mean? You understand?
Right.
You have to
Exactly.
really get to, okay, an employee will tell you, this is the reality I have, and this is the problem I face. And then you realize that if you don't fix this problem within your organization, down the road, you might encounter a bigger problem. So
Mhm.
it's that's what I'm talking about. Planning
Yeah.
is extremely important, and we can only plan well when we get information from all the important sources. And sometimes we forget that even the receptionist has
Mhm.
very key information that is
Mm.
required by the company, and sometimes this information is neglected. So I have designed a form that allows a constructive communication between the employer and each employee, regardless of their rank or of the position they have in their company.
This is amazing. And would you say that the services that you offer, which how do I explain or how do I ask? It's more which size of company? Like do you work with? Because now, as I'm listening to you, I'm kind of getting a picture of like your services. You're offering services to companies who have staff. But now, what if I'm an up and coming entrepreneur? Like, do you offer services for me, or is more for
I do it.
bigger companies?
Yeah, I do offer help to any business
Hmm.
uh, professional entrepreneur, but I love to work with a company that have about up to 50 employees, because
Okay.
I that this is really where I can really help, because
Hmm.
the bigger corporations
Hmm.
have a lot of resources to do
Exactly.
and doing. I'm bringing that knowledge, that expertise to very
Hmm.
small company, but small companies who are very successful. And
Hmm.
sometimes a small company that has 30, 40, 50 employees, they don't want to become bigger, because the
Right.
owner wants the vision, wants to keep the same closeness with his business,
Yeah.
his or her business. So that's where
Mm.
that's the kind of a client I like to work
I
with.
love that. I love that. Okay, so it's so it is so you're and so you're good if a company does want to go from, let's say, A to B, they do want to evolve. Like, you're a
Oh,
perfect person to help them
absolutely,
evolve and to grow.
absolutely.
I love that. I love that. Now also you wear many hats. So I know you have another business as
Yes,
well. So
yes.
if we could talk a little bit about that as well, because again, it was amazing when you first told me about it. I was like, this is perfect. And then when we hit these times, like, I know there's work to be done, but it's like it's something that I know you're onto something huge.
So throughout my career, what I've noticed, one of the main obstacle to performance is stress. A
Right.
lot of people find that, you know, when stress is well managed, it helps us do more. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
when stress is not managed properly, it becomes toxic, and especially if it's ongoing for a long time, people get demotivated, they get
Mm-hmm.
confused, because stress it has a physiological impact on our bodies, and we feel it. We are
Mm-hmm.
short of breath, we have muscle uh, tension, but
Yep.
we also don't realize that it impact the judgment. And
Mm.
this, okay, with time, you have a fabulous employee who starts in a position, and eventually you say, what happened to that person?
Right.
The stress was never managed properly, and the person lost the coping mechanism, and the performance been
Diminish.
has deteriorated.
Right. Yeah.
Throughout all the finding solution, I was trying to find something that required as less effort possible. I
Right.
just wanted people to have some relief from the stress,
Mm-hmm.
everyday stress. So I researched some games, I researched some different possibilities. And
Mm-hmm.
finally, I stumbled on virtual reality,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the technology. So basically, it's through, you wear one of these. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is I, I think you see
Ooh.
the logo here, but you wear one like this.
Yes. Oh, and for those just listening on the radio, so we're looking at an amazing one of those VR
VR,
goggles.
yeah, VR goggle. So the we can, you can buy those, and you can have your own programs. You can download different programs. The particularity of Distress VR was that we were bringing VR as a group experience. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a completely mobile service. We have we can have up to 12 participants per session, and I was using this as a team building activity, allowing
Uh-huh.
people to share a good experience. So we bring them in a virtual world, the beach, the mountain, the
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of beautiful places, and it helps people reconnect with their breathing, with their mental capacity, just taking a very deep, relaxing break.
You're right.
45 minutes. We have coaches that can come to your company. For 45 minutes, your team stops. go into a journey, a virtual journey,
All right.
and get sense, you know, they learn about stress management, breathing, technique that you can apply just sitting at your desk.
All right.
So this is, it's to, you know, to create a greater awareness
Mm-hmm.
uh, in the employees that, you know what, you need to manage every day. It's not something that you do. You have to be careful at
Mm-hmm.
that. And when people see the importance of that, then the communication can become much more constructive. When there is conflict, when there is issues to be dealt with, you are more, as much as the supervisor as the employee, are more connected into the problem and not into the conflict with each other.
Exactly. Wow. You
That's
know.
that purpose. So, but right now, because of this situation with the
Mm-hmm.
coronavirus, and because it's a close proximity, I
Mm-hmm.
think we've stopped completely
Right.
the
Exactly.
operation. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm right now, this is what I've been doing for the last 2-3 weeks, is to be flexible and trying
Mm-hmm.
to find a way to adapt
Mm-hmm.
the concept into this new reality.
You know, and I like, I'm praying for you, because it's something that I want to see. I know you and I, we've had a couple of conversations. I was trying to figure out how we could get into people's homes, because I feel there's a value in that. But I do understand it's not a cheap service. It's something that it might be a little strenuous for like an individual to be able to make it happen. But at the same time, like, because I meditate and things like that, I realize the value just in breathing. And like, we say it lightly, but we don't realize how often we're just holding our breath for no reason. Like, we're barely breathing most of the time. And just to stop and actually make it a habit to breathe, like, it's crazy that you have to say things like that, but people don't realize that we don't take the time to just breathe, inhale properly, exhale properly, and also just the power of your mind. So the fact that you're able to take people out of their office for a second or for 45 minutes and they're gone somewhere, we don't realize that as individuals, when your mind goes into these kind of when your mind goes through these types of experiences, your mind doesn't realize that it's just a virtual experience. So it actually starts to release like endorphins in your body and things like that, just off of what you're visually being stimulated with, like, so your mind could actually, liberate you physically, like, almost. It's kind of weird to break it down like that, but if you're able to grasp just the power of your mind, and understand that your mind can actually help you to, like, as you think about things, that actually has the impact on your actual world and your reality. It's an amazing thing. So what you're doing with that is phenomenal, exceptional. Like, I'm really looking forward for it to for the world to be able to benefit from it. So
I would like to say one thing though, because
yeah.
of the situation right now, what I'm trying to do with De-Stress VR is De-Stress virtual room. Instead of being virtual reality, I want
Mm-hmm.
to create a space where people can meet, and this is something I'm working on. People can meet to discuss those kinds of issues, to be
Mm.
minded of breath, but in a different way than yoga, let's say, or exercise. It's
Right.
not totally meditation. It's
Okay.
more awareness. I
I
think that
love
the
that.
first way for people to appreciate what they have is through understanding.
Amazing. That's facts. I agree with you 100%. So now, okay, so as a community, how can we help you, and how can we get in contact with you, and what are your closing words for us?
Well, you can get in touch with me, I think, through your association, the
Cool.
network. You can find me. So Pharaoh will
Definitely.
give you all my coordinates.
Of
And
course.
one of the things I want to do is anybody from the community, call me and let's get to Zoom. I want to show people, and this is free of charge, because right now I'm learning and I want to teach other people also how to maximize their productivity, even if we are in this strange situation. We can do something to keep up the energy going, because I think that right now our most important asset is time and attention. and we
I
have to
agree.
use it well so we can come out of all this better people.
Oh my God, that is amazing. You know, I'm gonna take you up on that. And like when I do my Facebook lives, don't be surprised if actually maybe you and I we can even coordinate a Facebook live. We could have another conversation on Facebook Live and let a
Sure.
whole Facebook world be able to jump on. This is amazing. So now for the coaching services and stuff like is there a website you want to share now that you want people to
Okay,
take a look
it's solemiaconcept.com. That's the consulting business.
at? Okay.
Okay, and Distress VR right now is still
Mm.
the service, the mobile service, but
You're right.
right now not involved.
Exactly. And so Limia, can you spell it for us?
It's S like Susan O
Mhm.
LEMIA
Okay.
concept.com.
Amazing. Sister, I thank you. And now, so do you have any closing words for us? Just anything?
Thank you so much for inviting me. I think it was, I thank you and I love what you're doing. I love your energy. I think you're doing a great, great thing, bringing people, melanated people together. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I love what I do. So thank you so much. And like I said, I have these opportunities to meet amazing people like you and to share it for the greater community. So we thank you. And so Louise, Tamara, everybody at the CKUT station, I know I went over my time. I'm sorry. I don't know how we're going to figure this out. But thank you for this opportunity. Sending mad love to the rest of my Detour team, Wheezy, Soke, Tata, RG, and now and Tracy is popping in as well. So I want to thank you guys all for what you're doing and what you continue doing. And let's just continue to get it until we are able to link back up in the studio. Peace and love and all that good stuff. Ciao. All right.